This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm now getting texts of congratulations from all over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
What are they congratulating you for?
You gotta be kidding me. Hold on a second. I wanted to get to stat of the day, and I wanted to get to Daniel Baldwin, that gas bag fourth member of the Baldwin family, who has now apparently infiltrated Bristol and is just wandering around trying to crash the set of Golic and Wingo, calling Allison the entire time. The Baldwins want in on ESPN, and they're bringing it. They're trying to do it. Alec wants in on ESPN, and he's trying to do it with his crappiest brother. And so Daniel Baldwin is out there, but I've got to stop everything. What, Guillermo? What are you looking at in there? I'm mortified. Hold on a second. Let me explain this to the audience. Right before we went on the air, what did you ask me, Mike?
To the audience or to us?
Mike, what did you ask me?
Did you give Greg Cote permission to say something personal about you?
And so what did I do? What was my reaction when you guys started?
You looked like you saw a ghost. Crestfallen / I just saw a ghost.
Yeah.
But also because why? Because Greg Cote for years has been putting in his blog information that he shouldn't be about.
Oh, this isn't a blog item. This is an article.
An article?
Oh, this is an article.
Yep.
A formal article in the Miami Herald.
Front page?
Pictures. Pictures.
Not even in the sports section. Front page.
No.
About that?
Yeah.
No, this is an actual article in the newspaper that Greg Cote.
For years, Greg Cote has put this show in uncomfortable situation after uncomfortable situation because he picks the oddest times to wear his journalism hat. Interpersonal relationships be damned. We actually trust this man with information, and he runs to the paper with it.
Let me explain to you guys, okay? Because everyone around here knows this bit of personal news. But let me explain to you guys where it is that my head dropped into my hands, mortified, at this point, they had not told me what it was. All they said is, did you give Greg Cote permission to blank? And now I'm scared. Because they're all looking at me like they know something that I don't yet know. And what comes over me when my head falls to the table was Mike Ryan saying, I'm sure this is exactly how Valerie would have wanted everyone to get the news, that you are marrying her.
What?
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Quite the scoop.
Greg Cote of the Miami Herald has put in the Miami Herald that a lifelong bachelor, Dan Le Batard, he's put this in the Miami Herald. What does the article say?
How did Greg know before you knew? That's the question. Investigate that.
How? I am scared.
Should we just read the article?
Who's going to read
the article? Well, I mean, clearly, a lot of people have read it.
Yeah, I'm getting, my texts are blowing up. I'm getting a lot of congratulations as Greg Cote, without my permission, has reported something that very few people knew.
Greg is a mercenary.
Wow. Yep.
This is.
Well, you know what's funny about this? This is how I'm mad right now and hurt, and
you should be all these things.
And it's funny. I can't dispute that this man does whatever he wants selfishly. But here's the funniest part about it. What a crappy story in terms of news, quote unquote, journalism news, that I'm getting married. And yet it's the biggest scoop of Greg Cote's career. That's how bad a journalist he is.
Dan, did he ask you for permission to do this?
Unbelievable.
Did he ask you for permission?
Read the article to me.
Did he ask
Read the article. I told you he's been trying this. Didn't I tell you this, or did I not tell you this? The other day when we were talking about his retweets and the idea that he treats me like a 13-year-old boy, he's been threatening to report this on me for days. And I'm like, you wouldn't do that. He's been threatening me.
Blackmailing you?
He's just been telling me that I'm going to report this story.
Apparently he would, because he did.
What?
Did
have you read it yet?
No, I'm retweeting it right now.
Yeah, Billy will read it. Did he feel the pressure? Did someone else know this scoop and he had to beat them to it? Was Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald going to report this?
I think it was last night, I'm yelling into a phone telling him, don't report that.
I'm guessing he had an inkling that Dave Hyde had found out, and he wanted to, yes.
But that's the joke I was making to him last night. I'm like, don't report that. Do you think Dave Hyde is down on that? Like, is he chasing that story? Nobody's going to beat you on that story. Let me announce it my way.
There is major personal news for ESPN's Dan Le Batard. He's been keeping it secret. Here it is. That's the headline.
Wait a minute. There is his son, of course, laughing harder than anybody at what a jerk, a journalist, jackass his father is.
One of South Florida's most steadfastly unmarried men, a guy People magazine once called one of America's most eligible bachelors, is available no more. Dan Le Batard is off the market. Wow. The popular Miami-based ESPN radio and television host, who just signed a 4-year contract extension with the network.
He's covering me like an athlete.
Why is he talking about you like he doesn't know you?
He's covering me like an athlete who just signed a 4-year extension.
Recently became engaged to his girlfriend of 2 years, Valerie Scheid. They plan to marry in late 2009.
4 years. 2019,
sorry. Le Batard, former Miami Herald sports columnist, has not yet announced his engagement publicly on either of his ESPN platforms.
Stugotz just texted me congratulations.
That's a big day.
Stugotz just texted me congratulations right now while sitting next to me and hearing this story.
And I'm going to text Greg congratulations for breaking the story.
Over the air.
The Dan Le Batard show with Stugotz are highly questionable. Both taped on South Beach. But sources close to the couple tell us Le Batard popped the question during a recent vacation in Kenya and Tanzania. A safari organized by Zoo Miami's Ron McGill, a weekly regular on Dan's radio show.
No!
Dan met Valerie, a lifelong Miamian, 2 years ago, noticing her walking through a restaurant at which his parents, Gonzalo, Papi, and Lourdes, were celebrating their 49th wedding anniversary. Dan is 49, by the way. His bride-to-be is 29. Your best wishes and or snarky comments go here.
Man.
He wants his clicks. He will sacrifice anything to get his clicks, including what used to be our friendship.
Congrats, Dan.
Yeah, way to go. And congrats to Greg. I mean,
I am very much in love. Congratulations, Valerie.
Are there people that Valerie hasn't told yet? They're going to find out.
I hope not. I'm going to need to make some calls during the break. You go ahead and handle the sponsorship.
Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Let's talk about buying a home for a minute. Because of rising interest rates, there's a lot of unpredictability when it comes to buying a home these days. It's causing a lot of anxiety and stress for a lot of people. Well, our friends at Quicken Loans are doing something about that. They're calling it the power buying process. Here's how it works. Quicken Loans will verify your income, your assets, and credit in less than 24 hours to give you a verified approval. That gives you the strength of a cash buyer. Then once you're verified, you qualify for their all-new exclusive Rate Shield approval. This is very cool here. First, they'll lock your rate up for 90 days while you shop. Now, here's the best part. If rates go up, your rates stay the same. But if rates go down, your rate also drops. Either way, you win. It's the kind of thinking you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To get started, simple. Go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. Rate Shield approval. Only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data records. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
If Mission Impossible's on your television, you're going to watch it for a few minutes. Like, they're all entertaining, although I would say the one that was bad was the one where there were faces being peeled off. I thought that
that's everyone. That's everyone. If you apply that rule, then it's all of them.
The one where it was, but the one where
the Philip Seymour Hoffman one?
The one where everybody was pulling off of their
Are you out of your mind? Not a single bad moment in any of those movies. Not one.
Stugotz.
You do not have a good movie if you have a movie in which your face is being peeled off as a plot twist.
Did you not like The Mask?
Did you not like The Mask?
That was when swing was coming back.
Did you not like The Mask?
Do you not like Tex Avery?
Do you not like Cameron Diaz?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Le Batard is currently yelling at Greg Cote. I believe that's what's going on. Mike, I have been in the studio the entire break. Greg Cote wrote a column today for the Miami Herald, big scoop, that Dan is engaged and getting married. I don't know, like, that's how I found out. I'm not certain Dan would have ever told me. There's no way I'm getting invited to that wedding. What is going on in the hallways here?
Well, it's difficult to reconcile because we have to worry about Dan because he's obviously going through a tumultuous time right now. There's a lot of people in Dan's life that are finding out about this, including us, but we're taking a back seat as he's just on full-on damage control right now. Greg Cote, his friend of over 20 years and his mentor in the industry, has just reported in not a blog post, not with a tweet, in a full-on article in the Miami Herald that Dan is engaged to be wed.
You want to know something strange?
What?
So, like, you guys were off for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it was, and one of the days Dan was in here, and we had, like, a nice 30, 40-minute talk, about all kinds of things, show-related stuff, personal things that we were talking about. I knew at the time I was going to get engaged that weekend. So we're talking about different things. I didn't let him know. And we were talking about the show, the future of the show, different things, and Dan was like, yeah, I leave on Friday. I'm coming back engaged. And I thought he meant, like, engaged in the show.
Right.
Like, I thought he was going to be more focused on the show.
Like, refreshed, ready to go.
He was going to be more hands-on. He was going to be doing... Because I'm like, this guy's never getting married. He said, I'm going to come back engaged. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, I can't wait. This is going to be fun. And apparently he meant, like, engaged to be married.
Wait.
I'm with Guillermo. I think we're all in the same boat, right? Like, we never thought we would...
The words didn't make sense together,
Yes, right.
Wait a second. When did you get engaged, Bill?
I got engaged, I think, August. I don't know. I got, like, the second week, like the 11th or something like that.
And that's around the time that Dan was in Africa.
You think he got engaged just to show me up like he did with that home run call?
Did he show you up? Did he show you up again?
Like,
oh, my God.
Like, I went on a 3-day trip, and he went on a 3-week trip. I went to the Bahamas. He went to Africa.
Right. If you're wondering what we're talking about, Guillermo was out at Marlins Park for opening day because we've been mocking the Marlins. They sold the team. They traded everyone. The team's a disaster, and their season got off to the best possible start for this radio show. Just for this radio show. And so we sent Guillermo out to Marlins Park opening day to kind of set the scene for us. And, man, did he set the scene. And he did so well. He really did on the play-by-play call. I mean, you listen right here. Guillermo nails it, and then Dan eats him.
Jose Ureña standing at the back of the mound. He reaches down. He's rubbing some dirt and rosin on his hand. And here we go. Oh, now he's writing something on the mound with his fingers next to the logo. I can't see what he's writing. All right. He's, here we go.
All right.
And the windup and the pitch. Oh, God, a home run on the first pitch of the game.
Welcome, Derek Jeter, and that concludes our Marlins coverage for the season. Can't even hear Guillermo.
Yeah, I can just make out that he's still talking. What Guillermo's probably saying is really funny and great content. Totally swallowed, and now his engagement has been swallowed.
Well, not just that, but the wedding is supposed to, like, I feel like everything's going to get upstaged now. Like, the engagement now doesn't look as impressive or nice, and he's going to get married around the same time as I'm going to get, and my wedding's not going to be anything like his wedding.
What the article said at what time? When is he getting married?
Late next year.
Late next year?
Yeah, according to the Miami Herald's Greg Cote.
Wow, yeah, I got a lacrosse mitzvah that weekend.
How is Dan going to fix this with Greg? Because Greg not only betrayed Dan, but he betrayed Valerie. She's the real victim in all of this.
Yeah, I feel terrible for her, I do. But he got his clicks, and that's what Greg is all about.
Do you think this is because we cut him out? We hit him with a hard network out while he was giving his Lobos update. He was really mad.
He's never been that mad. He has. One time that it happened during a Back in My Day is the only time he's been super mad about the hard network out.
This is coming off vindictive.
Wow.
So what do we do here, guys? I mean,
do we have anything on Greg that he can do? Like, how can we get back at him?
Well,
not the hard network out. We're just like anything. Any dirt on Greg that he could?
We do have something. There is this one thing.
What is it?
We have the video.
Oh, that's low.
No.
We have the video.
The sandbar video?
The post-sandbar video of when Greg was driven home. He walked out of the car. He had one too many, and he fell in the bushes.
And Chris, instead of helping him, was videotaping him.
Chris, are you still in possession of the video?
I still have the video.
Oh man.
Should we release the video?
It might be time to fight fire with fire.
Wow.
I mean, I'm like kind of caught in the middle here. It's my father and my
Are you
boss.
willing to betray your dad? I mean,
does Dan want this? I mean, maybe.
I think Dan wants revenge, doesn't he?
I mean, should we post it on the Herald, or is that not going to happen?
Wow, that's a good idea.
Maybe the ESPN.com homepage? How do we make this as big as possible?
I think to do what Greg just did to him, you have to go ESPN.com homepage.
Maybe we send it to TMZ.
That's not a bad idea.
Do they pay?
Attaboy. I'm proud of you. How'd he play? Dan's really upset. Guys, we are not making this up. To our audience, Greg wrote an article. It's a great picture, by the way. Have you seen the picture of Dan?
They look so happy.
They look so happy.
How do you
together.
get that picture?
It's amazing. I mean,
Sources close to the couple.
my God.
That's what Greg said.
Yeah, it is a great picture. Greg wrote an article, a scoop. He had a scoop. Dan is engaged. He is getting married. We never thought we'd see the day. We've all met Valerie. We love Valerie. Very happy for her. Very happy for Dan. But this is not the way Dan wanted the message to get out. He wanted to control the message. Greg decided to control it for him. And so Greg wrote an article for the Herald today about Dan's engagement. And Dan is on the phone right now because he's texting me while we're doing the show. He is furious, man. He is hurt, and he is furious.
This is an impossible position for you to be in, Chris Cote. You have to recuse yourself from the situation. No, everyone understands that you can't put out this incriminating video, which is why over 6 months ago I took your phone and I sent myself the video because I also have the video.
Oh, wow.
I also have the video on my phone. I have just confirmed it is completely out of your hands. I'm ashamed that I stooped to such a low. Maybe a Herald article.
I was just picturing Dan going through Bed Bath & Beyond, doing a registry, scanning things.
Shut up, Billy. You know you're setting up the registry for him.
Demand once more money.
With the gun,
the price gun, scanning things. He is going to hate wedding planning.
I'm sure Billy was all excited to plan his own wedding, but instead he's planning Dan's.
Yeah, exactly. Any of us in the wedding party, you think? Anyone?
Oh, man. We're just finding out about this. Are we even invited? It might be low-key.
I think Cody would have been in the wedding party. I think Greg would have been
Might
in
have
the
been.
I think Greg just wrote his way out of the wedding party. I did. Put that on the poll. Did Greg Cote write his way out of Dan's wedding party?
Yeah, I'm going to be the usher, Stugotz. You know that.
Allison's got a lot of work.
Dan Le Batard.
You are the best, and when I say the best, I mean the very worst and most evil.
Stugotz.
The worst.
But this time, it's for real.
Worst.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So here's where we're at. Stugotz and I still really haven't heard from Dan. We're assuming that he's handling some family stuff. Greg Cote has written in the Miami Herald that Dan is engaged, that he's surprised to many outside of his inner circle. I know a lot of you find this hard to believe that Dan had no idea that this was coming, but let me tell you from personal experience, around Greg Cote, because he's a part of the show, he hears stuff that's going on with the show. Sometimes, over the course of many years here, a lot of that stuff is personal, and it's news about the show. I remember when we were deciding to go to Midday, Greg Cote felt the need to put that in his blog and betray a certain trust. There have been a handful of times that I've been really mad at Greg Cote because he picks the worst times to put on his journalism hat, and it appears that he has put on his journalism hat here to announce that Dan is engaged to be wed without Dan's clearance.
This is not one of those times, though, right? Are you upset? Guys, are we upset at Greg Cote for this?
If Greg truly did this without Dan's permission, this is a betrayal.
Okay.
This is a betrayal because that's not just a business relationship, man.
It's also what happens when you cut the man's Lobo update off, which we did earlier this week. I mean, this is revenge, sweet revenge for Greg Cote.
He was legitimately mad, and is this him lashing out? I had to talk him down a little bit. Legitimately, he was mad. The only two times he's ever been really mad about a hard net workout was one time we did it during a Back in My Day, and we vowed to never do that again.
Right.
and cutting off his Lobo update.
Yes.
Legit anger was my last experience with Greg Cote, and here we are not even 48 hours later.
I want people to process that. We cut Greg Cote off when he was telling us about a benign tumor in his chest. Wasn't mad about that. Do you have the sound of that, by the way?
Let me find it.
He was not upset about that. But he was upset because we cut off his 2 segments, his Lobos update and his Back in My Day. Chris, what's the matter with your father?
I love it. This is not surprising to me at all.
It's just amazing. He cares about those things more than he does his own health.
I have no doubt that he had no permission to do this. I would almost bet that he definitely had no permission to do this.
That's where I'm sort of heading with this. I haven't spoken to Dan too much since we found out as the microphones were coming on to start the show. So I haven't done enough investigating between what really went on here. But my personal experience with Greg, I'm pretty sure Greg did this without clearing it with Dan.
I'm kind of glad he did. Was Dan just never going to tell us?
Right.
Like, was he going to come one day just married and we wouldn't know? Like, hey, whose kid is that? Oh, that's my son. I had him 4 years ago.
That's how I found out. I mean, it is. What's the record for polls here, like percentage-wise? I think it was 98%. Marcus Mariota always looked like...
You're going to ask that every time, right?
Yeah, I am. 98%. But it was the Mariota question. He's always questionable to return.
That was tied for the lead. Yeah.
That's tied for the lead? Okay, because I think this might break it. Did Greg Cote have Dan's permission to print the article he printed today in the Herald? 100%. Anyone who thinks Greg had Dan's permission is out of their minds. They don't know Dan very well from listening to the show, and they certainly don't know Cote. There's no way Dan granted him permission, and Cote just wrote that thing. He did.
I understand it might be hard to wrap your brain around Greg doing this without clearance because they've known each other for over 20 years. But I'm telling you, Greg has reported stuff that has caused legitimate trouble between us and ESPN because he's announcing things that weren't ready to announce. And he's done it repeatedly, no matter the scolding, which is why he and I have a tumultuous relationship. Here's the time that we cut him off with a hard network out when he was speaking about his tumor.
We told you repeatedly to go to the doctor. You ignored us. You finally went to the doctor, and the results of your visit to the doctor were what?
Yeah, after several tests, they found a tumor in my chest.
It's Dan, Stu, and Greg Cote.
Didn't care about that. Walked out with a smile on his face. Did not care.
I just realized this isn't even the first time Greg has done this. Greg accidentally told us Chris was engaged, and Chris had been engaged for like 6 months before we found out that he was engaged, and Greg accidentally said one of you guys back there is engaged, and I'm like, wait a minute, who's engaged?
That's true. It wasn't 6 months, but it was a couple months. Yes, he did ruin that as well.
Why does no one want to share when they get engaged? What's wrong with everybody?
It's a happy
here?
moment.
Because probably with Valerie, you don't tell you tell your family when you tell them, so you don't want it announced publicly until everyone knows.
Right.
So someone in Valerie's family probably just found out because of my dad.
No doubt.
But what takes so long? Just text everybody, call them, say, hey, like a week, maybe max, but like you were engaged for a couple months. Dan's been engaged now for like a month. Like,
yeah.
what's taking so long?
The Chris thing was weird, but part of me is kind of happy that this is out there because Dan was doing that weird celebrity thing where they hide either pregnancies or engagements. I'm going through Instagram pages right now to see any evidence, and she's hiding the ring. Yeah. I feel like I'm getting played a little bit. Part of me is happy that Greg just did this. Because
just put
honestly,
it out in the open?
Dan, just say you're engaged. What's the big deal? It's just so important that you have to keep this secret. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't release this Greg Cote drunken video in response. Maybe Greg did everybody a favor.
That's what I'm saying. Like, guys, we have an interesting kind of tussle here because Dan's going to want revenge, but I kind of side with Greg Cote here. Like, this is news I never would have found out if not for Greg Cote.
Right now, Greg's tweet has 1.2 thousand likes. His last one before that had 13.
He got
what
a
was the last
bump.
one before that? Hold on.
His last one was, if you missed it, in our latest column, we explore the delay in Dwayne Wade's heat or retire decision and say what he'll do and when.
Schefter's tweeting about it, retweeting this column. He's getting the bump from Schefter.
Is Schefter upset he got scooped? I mean,
This might end up on SportsCenter.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a news item.
Guys, it cannot end up on SportsCenter.
Why, would that make you jealous?
Yes. Insanely jealous.
This is... I mean, my expectations for Greg are kind of low, but this is This is a new bar. Yeah. He has just established a new bar.
I love it.
Who do you guys?
Are we turning? Are we siding with Greg?
This is amazing.
I think I'm with Greg on this.
We're talking it out a little bit. I think I'm siding with Greg a little bit here.
Yeah, I am too. You imagine the wedding party to be what? Riley's in that wedding party? Is Riley in that wedding party?
Barkley.
Yeah.
Oh, Barkley's? Who's the best man? Lebo's the best man, right? His brother?
I'm getting calls.
I don't know about in the wedding.
Oh, I'm getting nonstop.
Just as far as like in the people attending the wedding, it's a who's who this wedding.
It's not us. Like, we're not part of the who.
No shot we're going to this wedding.
No.
It's going to
Maybe that's why he didn't tell us.
I feel like, we'll be working. I feel like we'll be working the wedding.
Yeah.
It's something small and intimate, and then we'll see on social media. Because
we should do a remote from the wedding.
Oh, yes.
Good idea. Little red carpet. He's going to have a red carpet, white carpet. I mean, so I have Riley. I'm with Mike. Barkley is supplanted. He is definitely in that wedding party. Riley is certainly in the wedding party. Trying to think if there's an Arison in the wedding party. I don't know.
Maybe Ricky Williams.
Ricky, that's a good one. It's a good one.
It's not us. And we're going to be made mad when Greg Cote releases the photos from the wedding and we see that Tony Kornheiser's there and we're not.
Kornheiser and Wilbon are definitely in the wedding party.
Someone's getting I think Reali's going to officiate the wedding.
Yeah.
No Pablo. Pablo just found out on social media.
Right.
Oh, Pablo can officiate weddings. Yeah. Maybe that's how Dan gets Pablo back in his good graces, because he's incredibly offended by this.
Izzy will be there for sure, right? Sitting at the main table. I mean, before me. No question about it.
You'll go if Izzy can't make it?
I'll do HQ if Izzy can make it.
Demand once more money.
Thing better be Broward-based, too, man. Be as far down in South Beach as possible, right? Roy, it's actually going to be one of those weddings. People are going to have to travel to like some sort of island to get to it, right? He's gonna make it so costly that we can't even get there.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be at Bimini or something.
That's exactly right. Jimmy Johnson wedding party. Done.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I should have done this years ago.
Disclaimer, traveling back in time is physically impossible unless you know how to build a functioning time machine. Then by all means, travel 25 years back in time, switch your car insurance to Geico. You could save a bunch of money. While you're there, please prevent your younger self from wearing that sleeveless tuxedo t-shirt, parachute pants, and glitter high tops to your senior prom. And at long last, rectify this horrible crime against nature. Geico is absolved of all liability if you destroy the fabric of time and space.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
But I don't know what you do with the public comments, because last time we heard from Hassan Whiteside, he's questioning the way he's used, and then 10 days later he's saying publicly, I believe in all of Spo's decisions. I believe in him. Nothing Hassan says means anything. It's cartoon words.
Stugotz.
You seem really broken up about this, man.
It does seem like you're holding back tears.
Yeah. You want a napkin?
What's going on?
Because of the way I'm speaking?
Yeah.
Drink something. Yeah.
It sounds like I'm emotional about this.
That Barry Jackson report hit you hard, man.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So if you're just joining us, my apologies for missing the last couple of segments after just a remarkably profound betrayal that's not allowed to be a surprise. Because Chris Cote, I just went into the back room and Allison is mortified. And everyone is looking at me a little mortified because Greg Cote just betrayed me in the newspaper. But it's not surprising. I heard you the first 3 times you put the Billy Idol up in my ear. So hold on a second. Hold on. If you're just joining us, my good friend Greg Cote of the Miami Herald, who is always looking for a scoop to put in his blog for clicks, even though I've been telling him for a while now to not do this.
Why does he think he's a reporter? He's a columnist now, and he's just putting on his scoop reporter hat.
So he's reported that I'm getting engaged, which I am, and I'm very much in love, and I'm very happy about it. It's just not the way that I planned to. I mean, I got engaged a few weeks ago. Like, this was a while ago. This is not the way I planned it. And so Luther Campbell is on Twitter because everything's got to be public now. It's not Luke texting me.
Mm-hmm.
It's Luke showing everybody, congratulations, Luther Campbell of Two Live Crew, Le Batard Show, on your engagement to be married, my friend. You told me the other day, and Mike Ryan pleaded to not say anything, and then Greg Cote outs you. Wow. Mike Ryan was pleading
It's awkward. I knew.
Yeah.
Some of you knew.
I didn't.
I mean, you can't be trusted.
The Billy story's true. The Billy story's true. Before I went on vacation, I told him about being engaged, and he thought it meant at work. He thought he needed to be more engaged at work, and that I was going to be more engaged at work. I was going to be more engaged and in less single.
Yeah, well, the idea of you just getting married was so foreign to me. I was like, that is impossible.
So you just thought I was going to come back reinvigorated about this crap?
Yeah, because you seemed like tired, and I'm like, this is a good time vacation for Dan, and oh, wow, look at this energy. He's in today. He's going to be engaged when he comes back. This is great.
May I ask, what was the plan? I mean, it's been weeks. Like, what was the plan?
It's my business. It's not anybody else's, but evidently it's everybody else's. Thanks to my good friend Greg Cote, but I just got done.
Is he still a good friend?
I just got done. Well, we're going to have to call him to get him to explain himself, because there's no explanation for this. This is just a betrayal, flatly. He just reported something I didn't want him to report. But I just went into the other studio and I asked Chris Cote, Mike, call Greg so he can explain himself. I just said to Chris Cote, because he was the only one in there who wasn't terribly surprised by it, because it's his father. He's lived with the crazy old man and knows how selfish he is for a long time. And so I say to Chris, when I'm asked, are you surprised? I'm like, how surprised am I allowed to be? It's as if Stugotz gets raided by the FBI today. How surprised am I actually allowed to be? If a SWAT team rolls through here,
it's a squat team, by the way.
I'm going to yell at everybody. I didn't know anything, but I'm not allowed to be surprised. And nobody will believe me. Nobody would believe me.
Yeah, you shouldn't be surprised if that happens. I don't know what to tell you.
I am so mad, Mike. Like, what do you do?
You should be. Is Valerie mad? You've been hearing it from Valerie.
No, I've been dealing with. I've been talking to Valerie here for a little while now, because she's going to have to get used to what some of my friends are like.
I'm going to have to congratulate her, because I'm not sure she knew that I knew, and this is awkward.
Well, this is how I've spent the last two segments, apologizing to people and sort of trying to talk around like, hey, sorry, I didn't tell you. I didn't expect you to hear this way. I mean, my phone is just crazy right now with people calling and texting forms. Please stop texting me confetti.
I think it just happened. You can't control it.
Balloons, please. I don't want any more.
That's the best. And if you'd say Happy New Year, fireworks come out. You should send Dan Happy New Year.
Did you get any ring emojis? People send you the ring?
Izzy gave me some. No, Izzy sent me. There were a whole bunch of floating rings, diamond rings, because Izzy's developing a new artistic side.
I just sent Valerie a bunch of balloons. I'm not sure she's in the mood for that.
I see that the entire country of Spain sent you a couple of rings.
That's Sarah Spain.
It's just that Spain.
I mean, guys, do you want me to handle this with Greg Cote, or do you guys want to handle it with Greg Cote?
You're the one that's betrayed. Last segment, we're kind of going on his side.
What?
The news is out
what?
there.
When I was out of here, you guys...
Who do you think you are? Some big celebrity type that has to keep this secret?
I mean,
this is a betrayal. How can you take Greg Cote's side?
But it's how I found out. I mean...
All right, Cote, go ahead. Explain yourself. I am so pissed at you, man. What is the matter with you? The hell's the matter with you?
Well, I'm thrilled to be able to...
It's Dan, Stu, and Greg Cote on ESPN Radio. Dan Le Batard.
This time in refereeing, we're going to laugh at it in 40 years. Wait a minute. What? Andy Reid reached into his sock and pulled out a handkerchief with stains on it, and that's how he challenged stuff?
Stugotz.
How has tennis figured this out and nobody else can figure it out? Why are you guys clapping back there? You guys are doing...
Well, that's what you do when you're awaiting a tennis challenge. You clap. Here
comes the foot.
Yeah.
And then the foot.
Here comes the foot.
Great call. Yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
All right, if you're just joining us, Greg Cote, who is our guest co-host every Tuesday, and our audience has grown to love Greg Cote. In fact, they might, just knowing our audience, they might love him more now than they ever have, right?
I mean, he just entirely nuked the show today.
Yep.
But I think this is on brand for Greg Cote's show killer persona.
I agree. And so Greg wrote an article for the Herald today He had a scoop that Dan Le Batard is indeed engaged and getting married late next year. Now, I'm busy that weekend. I have something going on. I don't know what it is yet, but trust me, there is something going on. And so Greg is on. Dan had to leave the room because he is hurt, and he is doing damage control with Valerie, his fiancée. And congratulations to both of them. It's a big day. But Dan is really hurt because he considers Greg Cote to be one of his best friends. In fact, I would tell you that Greg Cote, of anyone involved in this show, probably the most likely to be in Dan's wedding party of anyone who's affiliated with this show. Was, exactly. He has written his way out of Dan's wedding party. So we have questions, all of us, including his son. We have questions for Cote. He joins us here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Greg, do you realize, because I've been around Dan for a long time, I'm with him every single day, and he is wounded, Greg. You have wounded one of your best friends.
Yeah, I was worried that there might be that reaction. I was sort of hoping that, I was very pleased to share wonderful news. That's the way I looked at it. It was, it's great news. It's not like I'm, reporting something bad, like, Dan was arrested last month and nobody knew about it. Here's the police report. What I reported was good news, and a positive thing. So, I'm disappointed. He's upset. I'm sure he'll get over it.
Right,
Maybe he won't. If I stop showing up on Tuesdays, it means he didn't get over it.
But, Greg, here's the thing. It's not your news to report. It is Dan's news to report. He needs to control the messaging on that one. Listen, me, the shipping container, I think we're on your side. Because if you don't write that story today, we have no way of knowing. But you understand that is Dan's message to put out there how and when he feels like putting it out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that, to be honest with you. Dan, seriously, Dan is a celebrity. Let's be honest with you. He's on national radio. He's on national TV. He's a bona fide celebrity. And when celebrities do things like get engaged or get divorced or have a child, it's news. And whether it's People Magazine or TMZ. Or the Miami Herald, Greg.
Or the Miami Herald. Or you're mentioning gossip magazines and gossip sites. Right. This is a Miami Herald. This isn't a blog item. This is not newsworthy. Right. This is your friend. He wanted to keep it quiet.
Well, first of all, I think it is newsworthy, and I also think part of the reason I decided to report it is that obviously it was something that was not going to be kept hidden. It wasn't going to be a secret wedding. You know what I'm saying? It was going to be announced. So I just decided to be the first one to do it.
Wait, so you're rationalizing it that it was going to come out eventually, so you might as well put it out as soon as possible?
I didn't put it out as soon as possible, actually. I've
You've
known
been sitting on it, right? Yeah, you've been sitting on this news for a while. Yes, I know. Yes.
And finally, it gets to the point where I'm like, all right, I've been in my womb, in my journalistic womb. I've been carrying this baby, and it's time for delivery.
Greg, thank you for doing this, by the way. I was kind of wondering why today. Like, what were you waiting for, a second source or a third source? Like, what made today the day that the world was going to know this news?
I don't think there's a specific answer to that. It just felt like the right time. I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't have a good answer.
Chris, do you know the answer? Or?
I don't. Admit it, though. Dave Hyde had the scoop, and you just, from the Sun Sentinel, had the scoop, and you wanted to get out there first.
That's the answer.
No, that's not the answer.
Yeah.
No,
it was Barry Jackson.
Yeah.
This was a scoop exclusive to me, and just as a side note, it's doing just boffo traffic.
Which is what you wanted. It's the only reason you did it.
Of course, that's what I wanted.
I'm so proud of you.
See, look, people call me a click whore. I'm unabashed about that. When I say something, I admit something is self-serving. And me writing this, in addition to sharing good news with Dan's millions of fans, it was also did me well in terms of getting eyeballs on something I wrote. So it's a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned.
That's why you made it an article instead of a tweet or a blog item, right? You wanted those clicks.
Correct. Yes. Oh, I'm upfront about that. I don't deny it. when I go on Twitter and ask and provide a link to my latest column, I'm hoping that fans of the show and fans of mine click on it, and I make no bones about that.
Greg,
that's the business I'm in, by the way.
Yep, the click business. You're right.
Greg, is this something you're going to stick with? Like, are we going to get updates throughout the process? You know, like color flowers, things like that, details about the ceremony. Are you going to stick with this story, or are you done reporting on it?
You okay?
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Thanks.
Okay.
Just clearing my throat there. I'm so emotional with joy for Dan and Valerie.
Choked up. Yeah.
I'm becoming verklempt.
You mentioned Valerie. Have you given her feelings any thought whatsoever?
Have you met her?
Of course I have. I love Valerie.
Okay.
She's a wonderful person, and she's, I'm sure, thrilled to be getting married. Why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't anybody want great news to be shared?
Well, she hasn't shared it yet.
Good question.
What's that?
She hasn't shared it yet.
There has to be a reason.
Yeah. Answer Billy's question. Are you on this beat now?
Yeah.
Am I on the what?
Are you on this beat now?
The wedding beat?
Yeah, the wedding, the baby
God,
beat.
no.
Yeah.
Really?
No, of course not.
No, because this is a successful article for you. Your editor, I know how the paper business works. Your editor's going to require you writing follow-ups.
Well, hold on, Mike. Billy, do you have the stats? The last column Greg wrote about Dwayne Wade got him. Greg, are you aware of how many retweets and clicks and likes you've gotten? Do you know the stats off the top of your head?
I check Twitter a few times a day. I haven't the past couple hours.
All right, so Billy has some stats for you.
So the wedding tweet got 2,100 likes so far, and the one just before that got 24.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great. I'm thrilled whenever people like and retweet and comment. It's good. It's good for business. By the way, as somebody who's a regular weekly co-host with the show, I feel like I sort of have provenance to scoops related to the show. In other words, it would make no sense if any other journalist besides me had reported that first. It just wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah.
In your reporting, did you get any indication as to why they didn't announce it yet?
No, I don't know, and I haven't talked to Dan about that. I have no idea, but I am very comfortable in thinking that it would have been announced probably on the air by Dan very shortly, and that's part of why I don't feel real bad about just putting it out there.
You did no reporting here, right? You just simply overheard the news?
No, I talked to someone who's connected to Dan and Valerie. I did know, don't get me wrong, I did know that they had been engaged, but I didn't know some of the details until finding them out.
And that's why you actually credit sources close to the couple, because you did true reporting.
Well, yeah.
All right. Before you wrote this, do you think you would have been in the wedding party, or what do you think? Because you exchanged 2,100 likes for your spot in his wedding party, essentially.
Well, first of all, I had no idea whether I would have been honored to be asked to be in his wedding party or not, and I don't know what the long-term repercussion of this. This isn't the first time that I've annoyed Dan or annoyed the show, and usually the anger is short-lived and we all get over it and move on. In this case, I hope there are no hard feelings, because in my mind, I'm just sharing great news. Again, I'm not reporting something that's damaging to Dan. I'm reporting great news that everybody's thrilled about.
I'm pretty sure he just doesn't get it. They wanted to keep this secret,
I don't want him to
man.
ever get it. Yeah, exactly.
At least for now.
Secret? Why would you keep that secret?
I don't know. Look, I understand your point, but for whatever reason, they didn't want to announce it this way. He's your friend.
I don't feel like that. I feel like it's great news, and I'm pleased to be sharing it.
Great news for you. Why'd you find it necessary? To put their ages in the column?
Well, first of all, that's de rigueur. Generally, whenever you're reporting about somebody dying, you put their age. If you're reporting about a marriage,
why are you talking about yourself as a reporter? I understand you are, but not in this instance, man. This sounds absurd to me.
What does?
You're talking about it as a true journalist.
And you could have sold it to TMZ. I mean...
Well, I think it's interesting. I found this interesting that Dan is marrying a woman who's a fair bit younger than him. Good for him. But I think that's interesting. I think that's something. Look, here's the thing. I ask myself, what do readers of this want to know? Would they be interested to know the age differential? And my answer was yes. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, it is what it is. You know, he's this and she's that, and God love them both.
Let's do a Lobos update.
It is time now for a weekly update on our favorite team, Rex Lobos. Here is their head coach and president of football operations, Greg Cote.
We're only doing this because you got really mad the last time we cut you off, and I believe this article is a result of it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, the Lobos continue to monitor the Le'Veon Bell situation. Our number one draft pick is being held hostage. I'm the hostage being hurt by this, and we hope that we get Le'Veon back soon. Meantime, if Adrian Peterson continues running like he did last week, we're going to be okay. The Lobos are 1-0, and we continue to plow forward and to gird heavily, and we're looking forward to this weekend.
All right. Well, congratulations on the big scoop. That is some fine reporting by you. Perhaps a Pulitzer is in your future.
I think that it merits one, quite frankly, and I appreciate everyone being overjoyed with my reporting, except Dan Le Batard and some of you.
All right. Well, you got my vote.
Dollar bills, yo. Dollar bills, yo.
Your Pulitzer vote?
Yes. They vote for these things, right? Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Let's talk about buying a home for a minute. Because of rising interest rates, there's a lot of unpredictability when it comes to buying a home these days. It's causing a lot of anxiety and stress for a lot of people. Well, our friends at Quicken Loans are doing something about that. They're calling it the power buying process. Here's how it works. Quicken Loans will verify your income, your assets, and credit in less than 24 hours to give you a verified approval. That gives you the strength of a cash buyer. Then once you're verified, you qualify for their all-new exclusive Rate Shield approval. This is very cool here. First, they'll lock your rate up for 90 days while you shop. Now, here's the best part. If rates go up, your rates stay the same. But if rates go down, your rate also drops. Either way, you win. It's the kind of thinking you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To get started, simple. Go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. Rate Shield approval, only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data records. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
Man, you have no journalistic responsibility.
Stugotz.
Yep, and I love it.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Get in touch with the show anytime through the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed at Le Batard Show at Stugotz790. Dan, it's time for Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts.
I want your help with something here. This show is admittedly more self-involved than just about any, and I do feel some remorse about what's happened here over the last hour and 20 minutes after this betrayal by my friend. But what am I supposed to do now going forward? And I don't mean just with Greg Cote. I mean with this show. I mean with Greg Cote on this show. I mean with Stat of the Day. Like, what do I do with today's show? Like, how do I segue from that? It's been extraordinarily self-involved to going back to doing our show, which is talking about the things in and around pop culture and sport.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Dan's fiance wasn't born before Die Hard came out. What?
Do you have a better stat of the day than that?
Play it again.
No, let's not do this. Let's go.
ATP rankings after the 2008 U.S. Open. 2008. Number 1, Rafael Nadal. Number 2, Roger Federer. Number 3, Novak Djokovic. ATP rankings after the 2018 U.S. Open. Number 1, Rafael Nadal. Number 2, Roger Federer. Number 3, Novak Djokovic.
I was looking for my own stat of the day during that, but I couldn't find it because of all the messages of congratulations on my phone. But I finally found it. This is good here. Since 1983, Deshaun Jackson, this is from Ruben Frank on Twitter. Since 1983, Deshaun Jackson has the most 50-yard catches, 50-yard plus catches for the Eagles and the most 50-yard catches against the Eagles.
That is good.
Great stat.
Great stat.
Yeah.
Yours was better, Mike.
And that is who Triple G is going up against. And that is the only litmus, that's the only piece of evidence that we have. How come we can't sit up there and just say, yo, because Canelo is more powerful than we realize at the middleweight spot?
What you can't do is anoint a guy number 1 pound for pound before he's proven it against top opposition.
Well, who did Canelo prove it against?
You can't win a boxing argument against Max Kellerman, can you? Not even
Stephen A.
No, not even if you're the not even if you
can win any argument.
No, not even if you're the great Stephen A., greatest to ever do it, undefeated, never lost. Not even.
Teddy Atlas can.
He's leaving.
He's leaving. He's mad.
Teddy Atlas was leaving because he didn't want to be there anymore in the middle of that. You can't argue boxing with Max. Come on. Max knows more about boxing than anyone in this industry.
Did you come up with a wedding hashtag yet?
I'm trying to move the show, Guillermo. You're going to do this every time?
Leba Bash 2019.
It's exciting, though. I mean, Valerie has a ring, man. That's one more ring than Kevin Durant.
Don Le Batard. Timbo Slice 59 is lighting us up.
Uh-oh.
Listen to Dan Le Batard for about 30 seconds today. Heard him say OBJ is the best wide receiver in football. Instantly turned it off.
Is that guy?
You showed us. Timbo Slice 59.
Stugotz.
Clearly there's so many receivers, so much better than Odell Beckham. And your choice is better than mine.
Tone.
No, that's funny tone. That's not angry tone.
Tone is tone.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So everyone's enjoying making fun of me right now, sort of pretending to feel bad for me while also laughing in my face because I was betrayed publicly by a friend.
We are laughing at that, but we're celebrating you. We're very happy.
Well, but the way this happened is pretty, it's wrong. It's wrong. And so now we should profit off it. So, Chris, at the next Moss Miami event, I absolutely want to charge $1 for everyone who can see that drunken Greg Cote video. At the next event we do, we're going to sit you down somewhere and people will charge $1 to watch that drunk video of your father that he doesn't want released. We'll give the money to charity or something. We'll get Mike Ryan to DJ at the event, and we'll get a bunch of people there, and then we'll just start showing them one by one to our listeners the picture, the video of drunk Greg Cote.
So Chris is at a booth. People are lining up. Chris said they pay him $1. Chris has to show them the video. So that's a great idea. I'll handle collections, Chris, okay?
You going to DJ at it, Mike? We've been doing these events, these Miami events down here where we traffic on how popular you've made our stupid show and to get everybody around here money. That's the reason, and the charity as well, but money. And so Mike is going to DJ at the next one. Are we ready to announce that you're ready to DJ, Mike? Because we will sell those tickets fast, dude. Those tickets will be gone as soon as we put them up. If we announce that you're DJing,
I'll keep an eye on Greg Cote's Twitter account to see if I am DJing or not.
Yeah. Mike, we had this conversation off air, lest people think we're kidding around about this stuff. Greg Cote cannot be trusted to not put information in a public place where he will get clicks. Mm-hmm. He can't be trusted. We've known this. Do you remember, Stugotz, the negotiations we had where people at ESPN were mad at us and Mike was mad at Greg Cote because Greg Cote reported something about our show before anyone at ESPN was ready to have it reported?
Correct. Yeah. I wouldn't even call it reporting. He just happened to be sitting here.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Sources close to Le Batard as I was sitting there listening to them as they talked. Stugotz talked privately with Dan.
It was a deeply personal thing. It was around the time we were making the switch to middays. It was contract details. We wanted to be in charge of the messaging there, and it actually got a little ugly between me and Greg. It put me in a really difficult position.
No, this is the start. You have tension with Greg Cote, and it starts right there. He's that kind of self-involved. But when I made the complaint earlier this week, you guys love this old man so much. You love him almost as much as I do. And I tolerate all manner of nonsense, probably more from him than I do from my fiance. I don't think there's anybody in my life I tolerate nonsense. Look, I tolerate a lot of nonsense from my dad. And I tolerate plenty of nonsense. But Greg Cote, what is this? Like, what is this? Who does this?
Cote. You do have a ton of nonsense in your life, man. Between me, Cote, and your dad, my goodness.
It pays everybody. The court jesters pay.
Happy engagement.
I don't care. Good luck.
All right, let's move on to a different kind of self-involvement. Allison, what's going on with you with that blowhard Daniel Baldwin, the fourth or the fifth best of the Baldwin brothers? How many are there, Mike?
1 Alec, 1 Daniel, 1 Stephen, 1 Billy.
4 of them. Okay, so the fourth of the Baldwin brothers. We've been feuding with them. Alec has been very mean to me, and very. He doesn't think that we're funny. He doesn't care that I respect him. He thinks that we're a clown show, and that his brother Daniel Baldwin is better at sports radio. Daniel Baldwin is trying to make a name for himself by beefing up in the sports radio world. Maybe not in the regular world, because I feel like in terms of celebrity, I probably am Daniel Baldwin.
Daniel Baldwin's getting engaged. You think they're writing a Herald article about it?
Who's more of a celebrity? Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Put these two things on the poll. Who's more of a celebrity, Dan Le Batard or Daniel Le Batard or Daniel Baldwin? Put that on the poll.
All right.
And also put on the poll, who is winning every argument about boxing when Stephen A. and Max Kellerman are talking? Stephen A. or Max Kellerman? Because that is the one place that I would say Stephen A. might win all other arguments. He ain't winning a boxing argument. I don't care how many flowers he puts around the words.
Good luck.
Allison, what's going on with you and Daniel Baldwin as he continues? He's just blustering and careening and pinballing all over Bristol, Connecticut campus?
He is in Bristol. I am trying to keep this thread of the Baldwin family. I originally, when I scheduled him for Celebrity Prognosticator week 1, when he lost, I then wanted Billy. I want Stephen, the sister. I want all the Baldwins.
We were going to keep getting Baldwins, but he lost immediately. He ruined it by losing immediately. And he was a gas bag and it wasn't even the Cowherd was that good. Cowherd was 3-2 and Daniel Baldwin lost.
So I need his help to get a brother this week. And he is more concerned about whatever. He has a prank. He has something planned. Something's coming your way, kiddo. Get ready, kiddo. Watch out, kiddo. I was like, listen, do I have a guest or not? I don't know about your prank. Just tell me about the guest. That's all I care about.
He thinks he's coming back on as the Celebrity Prognosticator. He lost.
A Baldwin is coming back. I don't know which one. And he will. Ooh.
So he's going to stay a part of this by bringing in his crappy celebrity siblings?
No, they're not crappy celebrities,
exactly,
man. They're
right.
the big time. We can get Alec Baldwin as a celebrity prognosticator. We can't turn this opportunity down. We can get Billy Baldwin
is he gonna keep
from
getting,
Fair Game.
Is he going to keep getting Alec?
On top of all of that, apparently ESPN Syracuse is making a trip to Bristol today, which he's part of. He's been sending Allison videos of him because their bus got pulled over and he was talking to the cop and he got them out of a ticket. And then I have reports from inside Bristol that he's kind of just going up and down the hallways trying to get his way onto shows. I have conflicting reports. He may or may not have tried to get on Golic and Wingo and they rejected him. Some say yes, some say no. I also heard he's going into all the studios, kind of befriending all the producers and lower, employees to kind of get them on his side for this war that he's starting with you.
Okay, but no one's allowed him on the air to start this war, and we sure as hell aren't going to put him here to start a war.
I don't believe he's been on a show yet.
He's just wandering around looking for fellow soldiers?
I did Golic and Wingo this morning, and he was in the studio, and I was texting the guys, put him on air. Like, let's go. I'll have it out with him. And no, nothing happened. He wasn't getting on
He was
air.
just sitting. How does he get in the Golic and Wingo studio? And does he just sit there? Well, they'll eventually notice that I'm a Baldwin brother. They'll put put me on the air.
I mean, I understand you don't want him on, but the only way to get Fair Game's Billy Baldwin on the show is through Daniel Baldwin. You're being overruled here. We need him.
Yes, we need Celebrity Procrastinator. Don't mess this up. But there is a prank coming. Something is coming our way tomorrow. Okay. Something's happening. Tell us. Something. That's what he keeps warning me.
He keeps threatening you, kiddo.
Be prepared. Get ready, kiddo. It's coming. Get your phones out. Get ready. Just be careful.
Do we need security? Is he going to be sitting out here in the green room when we get out here?
It's possible.
When we get here tomorrow morning, he's just going to be sitting there because our security is a little laxer than Mike and Golick and Wingo. We got one security guard out here. Daniel Baldwin's going to rough him up.
And I just want to say congratulations, man. I'm so pumped for you. You and Valerie getting married. That's amazing. I got to come to the wedding, man. Your favorite cinephile is going to be there. Wedding Crasher style. I'm very charming. She'll love me. I'll bring whatever you want, man. I got a great gift. I can't wait, dude. Congrats.
Why do you guys keep reminding me of this betrayal of Greg Cote's? How did Adnan Virk just breach all the security systems to congratulate me on an engagement that I didn't want him to know about and a wedding he's not invited to?
Maybe we should
be there, man. This is how we'll broker a truce. This will be our sit down. This will be our meeting of the minds. I'll be there. Mazel tov in the house. Stugotz is going to show up.
Get out of here!
Demand once more money.
Oh man, so many people happy for you.
I wish I were one of them.
USA Today just wrote an article.
No!
Yeah, they did.
No!
Yeah, they sent out a ring, too, congratulating you.
USA Today did not write about it, did they?
Yeah,
they did.
And it would bring delight to your face. Your nemesis with your wife-to-be. It would be an amazing sight. Come on, let's make this happen.
Worst, man. The worst. 1-800-Flowers. Stugotz over the years.
See you, Captain.
Stugotz has spent his paychecks on bouquets from 1-800-Flowers so his marriage could live on another week. It's a panic situation. It's a bit of a Band-Aid. But 1-800-Flowers always seems to work. He is still married.
You'll be there soon.
Yes. I will
be there.
Oh, you mother. Come on. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Computer, execute 12.4p operation.
Optimizing algorithm. Running encryption packet alpha 990. Oh, I don't feel so good.
What is it, computer?
Is it hot in here? It feels hot in here. I feel a little clammy. I should lie down or something.
A computer with a virus? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Those oysters Rockefeller were a mistake.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
Stugotz lies so much, and he doesn't take inventory of his lies, that even when he's telling the truth, we don't believe him on anything. What's wrong, Stugotz? What are you objecting to?
I mean, listen, I've done this to myself, so I'm frustrated at myself. I'm not going to lash out elsewhere because I understand why everyone would think that I was the one who did this. But I am sitting here telling you guys that I did not do it.
Stugotz.
You absolutely took a bite out of a piece of pizza and put it back with the rest of the pizza.
It was me.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo, what are you laughing about back there? You guys aren't going to let me get away from this.
Just saw the TV with your old top bachelor, eligible bachelor, said bachelor no more. Congrats.
Yeah, man, we're excited for you.
You saw the TV and what? Explain it. Not everyone's watching on TV. They might need a little better explanation for what Billy was privately smiling about. You know what? $2. Get out of here.
Whoa.
Just get out of here. Just get out of here.
Whoa.
Like, do you not understand how radio works? Like, you don't understand radio? You haven't been in it long enough.
The TV put a clipping of your People's Magazine's Most Eligible Bachelors as a nice little tie-in for the news that Greg Cote broke. According to the Miami Herald's Greg Cote, Dan Le Batard and his lovely girlfriend Valerie is no longer girlfriend, fiancé. They're engaged to be wed. Can you confirm the reports?
Rosie Perez is going to join us at 12:30 Eastern. Roy's Realm is next. King Roy. Nice. King Roy is making an appearance.
Dan's still not available for comment.
I'm putting out fires though. I can't concentrate on today's show. All I'm doing is answering texts all show. Like I can't even concentrate on what we're doing around here.
Meanwhile, Cody's just washing it all in, man.
I've got to talk about the Ravens game tonight. It's important.
It's a big one. AFC North, yeah.
1.5. I mean, you can't just not bet a Thursday night game, right? That's not an option. So who do you like here?
Put it on the poll. Can you just not bet a Thursday night game? Put it on the poll because you can't. You can't just not bet. You got to put the first half under something. You got to put something in there. You can't just sit it out. What's the matter with you?
I'm only a man.
I mean, what do you expect from me?
You put one game up there and expect me?
The wedding better not be on a Thursday night during football season. I got to get one bet in. I say entertainment purposes only.
Did you say wedding next year, like late next year? Because that
I don't
is
want
right.
to talk about it anymore.
I know, but
man.
teams, I mean, vying for wild card spots. I mean, just be careful with the date,
I'm
man.
probably no. She wants a wedding that's not too warm down here. So I'm going to have to do it during football season. Okay. Yeah.
You got like 1 week to choose from.
Yeah, I'm busy the entire football season.
I'm going to have to get advice from all of you.
The week in between the championships and the Super Bowl.
Best week.
Sweet spot.
Best week. Yep. Beautiful weather.
Wait, but that's 2 years. That's 2020, isn't it? That's January.
No. Sorry to break it to you, Valerie.
Okay. So we got to do it around football season. The Ravens, help me understand something here. The Ravens play tonight. They play against Cincinnati. You know what Cincinnati is. Cincinnati is a team that doesn't care about winning.
A 1-0 team that doesn't care about
That's
winning.
right.
I would say I know what Cincinnati is, and Cincinnati is back.
And undefeated.
I thought you were going to say, I know what Cincinnati is, and Cincinnati is 1-0.
That too.
Yeah. So they're unbeaten. They're playing at home, and Baltimore's going in there. And I feel like these two things can be true. Tell me if I'm wrong about this. That for the last 20 years, or since whenever Ozzie Newsome became the general manager of that football team, we know that the Ravens generally know what they're doing. They're pretty good at knowing what they're doing. Even as we're arguing about whether their quarterback's elite or not after he's won a Super Bowl, that they are good at everything they do up there other than prayer their owner asks for when they're thinking about signing Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
But they're good. They're good. That's a good organization, well run at the top. We all know it. And yet I feel, and you correct me if I'm wrong on this, I also never believe they're actually going to win anything. I've watched them for 20 years without believing that they're going to actually win the Super Bowl. Even as I'm watching them, and even one of the years, I'm seeing the best defense I've ever seen. But their quarterback.
Oh, you're going back to that point. Wow.
I'm going back over the last. I'm doing all the Ray Lewis years. I never have believed that team is going to actually win, even after it does.
Right.
Because I don't believe in Flacco. And because that defense, great as it was, I didn't believe they could carry Trent Dilfer there.
Sure. There were times where I thought they could win. Actually, Flacco, I forget who dropped the pass in New England.
Lee Evans.
Yeah, Lee Evans. Like there were a couple of years there.
The Patriots never want to face them because Ravens seem to be as well run an organization without the Tom Brady.
Right.
Like they seem to be run as well as the Patriots are. They just don't have, quite as much hardware, but there are a couple of times when Baltimore has gotten there where New England doesn't want part of that team. Like that, New England is scared of Baltimore when Baltimore comes around.
Right, but I think more so the last few years. Like, they are a solid organization. You're right, Ozzie Newsome is a great GM, but there's no chance they're winning anything meaningful this year or anytime soon.
I'll tell you what, though, who could have seen coming everything that's happened since the Super Bowl where the brothers were carpe dieming, and John Harbaugh is the better coach, man. And that's fairly staggering to say. Because the lesser known Harbaugh, the lesser respected Harbaugh, the less famous Harbaugh seems to be a more successful coach. That organization is really well run, and I don't trust them. I think they're going to lose all the time. I think they're going to lose tonight. I keep thinking that I'm going to get the game that they played last year in London against Jacksonville, where they lost 30-0 in the first half or something ridiculous. I keep expecting that to be the Ravens, and every once in a while they're holding up the trophy.
Right. And people are making a big deal about week one. They played the Bills. They played the Bills.
I don't trust that team. Do you? Guillermo, put it on the poll. I can't believe I'm saying it because I know they're well run. Put it on the poll. Do you trust the Ravens?
Couldn't wrap my brain around Joe Flacco outplaying a Colin Kaepernick, who at the time, man, Colin Kaepernick's played Aaron Rodgers twice in the playoffs, and he's outplayed him thoroughly. Once at Lambeau and once at home. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. You tell me I'm wrong about this. New England doesn't fear Pittsburgh somehow as much as it fears Baltimore.
Well, certainly those Baltimore teams of a few years ago. Yes, I don't know if New England fears this Baltimore team.
No, but I'm saying that if Joe Flacco comes into Foxborough, there's just a general concern that the Patriots don't have if the damn Steelers are coming into Foxborough. With Le'Veon Bell signed, With Antonio Brown back there and Roethlisberger, there's just, am I wrong about this? That the Ravens, because of how they're run, are a little bit scarier to the Patriots than the Steelers are, when the Patriots always know the Steelers have the best 3 skill guys and they're going to lose anyway.
They're not a bad team. They should have been in the playoffs last year, and the Bengals kept them out. And you can watch that rematch tonight. I got $50 on it.
Yeah! First half under!
Don Le Batard.
I love what the Rams are doing. The Rams have a head football coach who is younger than the child star Raven.
Stugotz.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Guillermo? Why are you making the face?
What are you doing? You've been using that child star Raven line. First off, her name's Raven Simone, and she's getting to the point that you should stop using that.
But this is my point, that the coach of the Rams is a child star. Why are you guys making faces? Give me a better reference than that.
Drew Barrymore?
Give me no, come on, man. Drew Barrymore's damn near my age.
No.
It's that, really?
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So Drew Brees did a conference call. We'll get to Roy's Realm in a second. It's got a few touches this time that I'm not used to seeing. But he did a conference call, Stugotz, and he said, quote, of Baker Mayfield, quote, I think he can be a lot better than me, end quote.
Way to put the pressure on him.
But I mean, is it even possible to be a lot better than Drew Brees? Is it possible for anybody to be a lot better than Drew Brees?
That's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
I mean, they're not a lot better.
They're a lot better.
Okay, thanks.
You don't think Tom Brady's a lot better than Drew Brees?
I mean, I'm saying that's the top end of the quarterback tree in the NFL. You're not going to be a lot. Like, Drew Brees plays the position, has mastered the position as well as just about anybody has mastered the position. You're not going to play it a lot better than him, are you?
No, I guess you're right.
Within physical limitations that he might have that, you know, Baker Mayfield seems like he also has those same kinds of physical limitations.
No, you're right. So to say he's going to be a lot better, because Brady and Rodgers are better. They're not that much better than Brees. I was exaggerating, obviously. But so, yeah, that's ridiculous. A lot better than one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game.
Wow, you went the other way on
Crazy.
You weren't listening to me at all at the beginning, were you? You just decided to go whichever route it is was convenient.
That's what I do, yeah.
Time now for Roy's Realm.
Traverse the royal splendor of His Majesty's most noble kingdom. Here now is your sovereign supreme royal highness, King Roy.
All hail! His Majesty King Roy will speak now. Hail!
All right, so the previous weekend, we all went to Charlie Hume's wedding, me and the shipping container.
A royal procession.
And I decided to take my daughter.
Princess Claire! 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 You brought her without permission, King Roy!
What?
Princess Claire!
From the noble Humes.
Yeah, I did not ask Charlie if I could bring Claire to the...
Nor should you! You're the king!
The king does as the king wants!
She was very well behaved on the airplane. I was very proud of her. Going to Baltimore, and that's where we ended up going.
Kingdom of Baltimore.
Yes.
Baltimore. Baltimore. Baltimore.
It's a merry land.
And on the way back, however, it did not go too well. She was crying. She has a cold, and it kind of disturbed the people around her.
A cold warm her up. Have you given her these biotics?
We killed the biotics.
We are antibiotics.
We killed the biotics.
Antibiotics.
Did we kill them too soon?
Apparently you did.
Fetch the biotics!
Fetch all the biotics!
Save the remaining biotics!
To me! I shall torture them!
Bring the princess the biotics!
We shall set their homes aflame, my dear lord!
But in between those two flights, it was a great time. We had a lot of fun at Charlie's wedding.
Quick question. Flight. You mean on a dragon of some kind? Or a chariot that just goes really fast? Or...
What do you mean by flight, exactly?
Silence!
Silence! Silence!
Silence!
Silence!
No, it's called an airplane.
An air what?
An airplane.
I will not refute you. I just have no idea what you're talking
The king
about.
is never wrong.
Never wrong. I'm sorry to doubt you, my liege.
Congratulations, Dan, on your engagement.
Oh, you
Sorry.
Silence!
Silence! Who would marry the town drunk?
Somebody who must really love him, I guess.
Impossible!
How can you love that face? It is hideous.
So, once again, congratulations, Dan.
Love truly is blind.
I have a proclamation.
Royal proclamation!
Silence!
Sorry. Quiet, everyone.
No more weather delays in sports, period.
Oh!
Play through it.
So shall it be written? So shall it be done? What if there is lightning, King Roy?
Play through it. Hope you don't die.
You're so wise, my king.
The Georgia State head coach Sean Elliott tore his bicep after giving a very aggressive fist bump in a celebration.
Odd segue.
Yeah, I got really nothing to say about that.
Okay, well, weren't they your notes? They were
You fat, miserable, engaged person!
Send him to the dungeon,
Who
my
would
lord!
marry
Send
you?
him to the dungeon!
I read it in the Miami Herald scroll. Nobleman by the name of Gregory P. Cote. Got the scoop.
The Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone said that he does not watch the Super Bowl. He hasn't watched it since he was 12 years old. Apparently.
Liar!
Yeah, I am.
Jaguar?
Yes, Jaguar.
Jaguar. Not familiar with that animal. Not around these parts.
I believe it's a type of cat.
Super Bowl?
Yes, Super Bowl.
How do you spell that?
That'd be SUPERBOWL.
Oh, a superb owl, of course!
Is that some sort of communal dish?
No, it's an owl that's just spectacular. It's superb.
Ah, the wise owl!
Put it on your crest. An owl is wise, just like you, my king.
I have a proclamation.
Another proclamation!
Holy bleep. Wow, what? A rare double proclamation day, though.
Send that drunk to the dungeon,
Send
my
him
king!
to the dungeon, my king. He is trying to thwart your kingdom.
Please.
You can look into his eyes if they can open because he is so drunk.
Send him away.
Send him away, my king.
Please send him away.
I shall dispatch of him.
Send him
Let
away.
me.
Send him away.
2 shekels, 2 minutes.
Oh, man.
Wow!
That is how you rule with your iron fist.
You are fair and just, my king!
He's spitting on me.
So sorry, my liege.
Up with his head!
Allow me. No, it's a little. I'm just sorry. I apologize. There you go, my king.
I get so excited!
Kept a little too excited.
The second
Kiss
proclamation.
the king's
The
ring!
second proclamation
You have a
is
ring I can
Kiss
kiss.
the king's ring!
Kiss the jewels on the crown.
Kiss it!
You are my king.
154 games in Major League Baseball. 154. That should be the amount of games that should be played.
Drunk in his dungeon with a stupid hat on! What is that?
Miserable drunk.
Mumbling to himself.
Major League Baseball.
154 games in Major League Baseball. We should go back to that.
So shall it be written?
So shall
it be
done.
So 8 fewer games, King Roy.
Yes. 8 fewer games.
What does that accomplish? I'm sorry for questioning.
Do not question
I'm
your
sorry.
8 fewer games.
My liege, there are those in the kingdom that doubt you.
I
Perhaps
bow before you and apologize.
Kneel before the king. Kneel before the king.
Give me a ring, king. I will kiss it. I apologize
Established
for
previously.
questioning you.
Does not have a ring, you have to kiss a jewel.
This seems like a good thing television should capture instead of Dan texting.
Perhaps the camera should pan.
It seems as though they're not paying attention in far off Washington. I'm gonna go back to my seat now.
Yeah, before you do that, 2 shekels.
Oh,
wow.
You have to join the town drunk in
I'm
the
a simple
dungeon?
man.
No, he does not have to join the town drunk in the dungeon.
He
Just
looks like
2
he has
shekels.
leprosy.
Yes, you might catch that. I have a proclamation.
Another one?
Whoa.
3 proclamation day, my liege.
Yes. No baseball game shall continue past 10 p.m. in whatever time zone that game is playing.
Why, is it too late for the princess?
Yes, it's too late for the princess.
Too late for the princess Claire. Too late for the beautiful baby. adorable Princess Claire.
10 rooster crows, you say?
The king has spoken.
2 hours before it strikes tomorrow. So shall it be written, so shall it be done.
Computer, execute 12.4p operation.
Optimizing algorithm. Running encryption packet alpha 990. I don't feel so good.
What is it, computer?
Is it hot in here? It feels hot in here. I feel a little clammy. I should lie down or something.
A computer with a virus? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Those oysters Rockefeller were a mistake.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Batard.
What I'm telling you, this is what I'm telling you. You send 4 or 5 or 6 88-year-olds my way, and each one of those fights is going to look like Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez. Each one of them. Send them one after another. It'd be like a kung fu movie.
Stugotz.
Send them one after another, and I'm telling you, I'm dusting a dozen 88-year-olds, one after the other. They're like zombies. They can come all at once, one after another, with my hands.
What if Hayden Fry is one of them?
All of them. 88 years old, unless Jeff Conine's father is there.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So Adrian Peterson, Stugotz, if you were trying to do this, and it's not the easiest thing to do because numbers in football don't mean very much. In fact, what is the most important number in football? Like if I ask you to associate, one of the things that happened in baseball is the numbers stopped mattering. Steroids wrecked all of that. The numbers became different, but they still matter there more than they matter anywhere else. In football, what number are you looking at?
Rings.
Thank you.
Yep.
So Emmitt Smith is the all-time leading rusher in the NFL with 18,355 yards. And Adrian Peterson, and Rosie Perez is going to join us here in 15 minutes. She's our boxing expert. We got a big fight coming up. Stephen A. and Max Kellerman are brawling about it. Rosie Perez is our boxing expert. We're going to get the lowdown on all things boxing. Boxing's got some cool fights coming up in the next few months.
Seems like the same fight every couple of months.
No, that's fine that you can make that joke because you're ignorant, but what the heavyweight division is bringing your way is really good.
I mean, tone boxing expert, but I can understand why. I can understand why you feel that way because Triple G Canelo 2, Triple G Canelo. Triple G Canelo 2 was supposed to happen like 3 times between the last time they fought and now.
I know, but Stugotz's analysis of sports is always the passing things that I'm thinking about that I know 3 things about. Like, hey, what? I've heard about this Triple G Canelo fight. That's all I know. Okay, idiots. Boxing's dead. Like, that's the Stugotz move. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I mean, damn, we were growing up. It was, Tyson and Holyfield. There was a great boxing match like every couple of months. Now it's the same boxing match every couple. They're only good fighters.
It's funny that you should say that because Tyson Holyfield wasn't highly anticipated and nobody cared because Holyfield had no chance.
Didn't Holyfield beat him once?
Yes. But you're remembering that in
Puncher's
reverse.
chance,
You're remembering that from what you already know as opposed to what was happening during it, which is you were complaining about Holyfield being the opponent for Tyson because you didn't know anything back then either.
Yeah, but there was Tyson.
That's true.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
But both the big boys in the heavyweight division, both of those guys are undefeated menaces. Wilder and Joshua. You guys didn't think I knew the name. I knew it because you're making fun of me because you're making fun of me on the Harold Letterman stuff. I know. I saw you go into the computer, so I just spit the name out because I saw on all of you what are their names. You were about to quiz me. What are their names?
You got full names for us?
So Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson is, you want to guess how many yards behind?
Just tell me Joshua's last name.
Go bleep
first.
yourself. That was a good joke, though. Tell me Joshua's last name is a good joke.
Boxing is back.
Yeah. So Rosie Perez is going to join us in 10 minutes. But Adrian Peterson, you want to guess how many yards behind Emmitt Smith Adrian Peterson is on the all-time rushing list?
Oh, I imagine he's pretty close. I'd say 2,000 yards, maybe
6,000.
What?
So yeah, it's 6,000 yards or about 6,000 yards.
Yeah, Frank Gore is actually much closer.
So Adrian Peterson is 10th on the all-time rushing list, but he is saying, I could play long enough. I want to break that record. And he says, quote, I feel like it's realistic, very realistic. And that is a man who has a certain sense of who he is that no one in the world has anymore, not even the team that he's playing on right now. There is not a team in the universe. And I understand that Adrian Peterson actually looked good in week 1.
Really good.
He rushed for almost 100 yards, and it was bruising running, and he took Patrick Peterson and juked him and then ran him over. Adrian Peterson, in that sport, is widely regarded. Think about what I'm about to say here. In that sport, which is the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, the cruelest, Adrian Peterson is almost universally regarded as a physical freak of the very highest order. That when he was at Oklahoma, he was doing these plyometric jumps onto boxes that were very high, holding 50-pound dumbbells.
Right.
Like doing just his handshake is something that throughout the league, people are like, he's got a legendary handshake because of how strong he is and how difficult he is to tackle. And he's 6,000 bleeping yards behind Emmitt Smith, and he thinks he can do it when most of us think he's washed, don't we?
I mean, after last week, he had almost 200 total yards. I mean, he had 2 catches for 70 yards. He had a 52-yard catch. I mean, he played really well. Because that position is so interchangeable at this point, I could see a team just saying, hey, I'll take Adrian Peterson.
I thought the Patriots were going to do it yesterday, the team with the last year, the team with the actual good running backs, and you saw that they couldn't get him on the field.
Right.
Because they had actual good running backs. They had a guy who's the star of the league right now, right, in terms of production.
New Orleans had him. Sean Payton is a good evaluator of talent. Can't do anything with this guy. Off to Arizona. This is his third team since Minnesota.
That's a bit unfair. He also had Ingram and Kamara. I mean, he did.
Yeah, but you mentioned the catch for that's rare with Adrian Peterson.
He's not a pass catcher. He is not as the game has evolved with throws to Le'Veon Bell, he is not that, even if he did that.
So you don't think Peterson could do it? I mean,
what? But I thought he was washed when he was in Arizona. So now you're telling me 5,000, 6,000 yards? That's 6 seasons. Like, that's what you're telling me? That he could do that? Or is Adrian Peterson thinking he's going for more than 1,000 yards a season?
I think he's thinking 3 seasons, 2,000 yards per.
Don Le Batard.
Mike, how'd you feel that went? Was that okay for you?
No, what do you think about it? Huh? What do you think? Since you think you're being smart a little bit about it, what do you think how it went?
No, not being smart. I would not do that to Mike Tyson. I'm not being smart. No, sir. I say it in the most respectful way possible.
Well, you're the interviewer, so you tell me how it went, buddy. Stugotz.
I'm sorry if I've upset you, Mike. Thank you for being on with us.
No, you didn't upset me, because if you upset me, you would have known about it. This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
We go to one place for all of our boxing information. It is not Max Kellerman. It is our boxing expert and correspondent, Rosie Perez. You remember her from a number of different things, but I imagine this audience, it would be mostly White Men Can't Jump, right? This audience,
yes,
it's White Men Can't Jump. And Rosie is with us on behalf of the 100 Roofs Project. It's helping rebuild roofs in Puerto Rico post-hurricane. We will talk to her about that in a second. Always delighted to have her on. So, Stugotz, you want to take up with her what it is that you were saying with me? Why don't you go ahead and argue with the boxing expert about how boxing's dead?
Well, Rosie really loves boxing. She'll take any matchup. She'll take it in any form. I don't love it the way Rosie does. But Rosie, what I was saying was when I was growing up, Dan and I are, 45, somewhere in that range, 45, 46, 47. Well, everyone knows Dan's age now because Greg Cote put it in the newspaper.
Probably not her concern.
Yep. So what I was saying was it felt like there was a big fight, especially in the heavyweight division, like every couple of months. It felt, you had Tyson and Holyfield, Foreman was hanging around. You had a bunch of guys. And then in the lower divisions, weight classes, you had other great fights with Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran and guys like that. And now it feels like a little bit like boxing is dead from this standpoint. The only fight that gets everyone excited is this fight. Triple G. I mean, and it's the only fight. And I feel like we see this fight every couple of months, Rosie. Therefore, I think boxing is dead. How about that?
Yeah, they've been saying that for a really long time, that boxing is dead, and it's still here. It's still vibrant. If you're a real boxing fan, last year was stacked. This year is stacked. even in the heavyweight division, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, lightweight, Kovalev. You know, I mean, the list goes on. And you know, we have superstars right now. Lomachenko is amazing. Earl Spence Jr., amazing. Bud Crawford, Mikey Garcia. I could go on, but I know you don't have that much time. So, yeah, maybe because you're a casual fan, you may think that, but real boxing heads, no. Boxing is alive and well, and it's very, very exciting right now.
What do you make, Rosie, of Golovkin saying flatly that Canelo Alvarez is covered in track marks from all the injections that he takes?
Well, you know, that was a bit of an exaggeration. I actually laughed when I heard that. But, you know, here's the thing about Gennady Golovkin. He's pissed off. And the only time I've ever seen him angry was when he boxed against Matthew Macklin. And you're like, who's that exactly? He killed his career. You know, Macklin did something dirty in the ring on the third round, fourth round, bell comes in, bang, right to body shot, hard. He dropped him. So now he's pissed off here at Canelo for eating the tainted meat. I mean, the Mexicans, they live in Mexico. Other fighters have been caught eating this, you know, hormone-induced meat, and you don't know? Come on, you know. So he's legitimately angry, so we're going to see a different Gennady Golovkin in the ring. So it's going to be very, very exciting.
Rosie, with him, with Floyd Mayweather retired, Triple G is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, right?
Well, some people debate that, but yeah, I think he's there. Yeah, you know, like I said, like you have some guys like Lomachenko, and you know, I mean, you got to check this guy out. He's amazing, and you know, Earl Spence Jr. is coming up, but no one has really reached Mayweather's status, you know, in a very, very long time. You know, even when Mayweather was active. You know, so those are big shoes to fill. But, you know, Gennady Golovkin is amazing. You know, I didn't think that he lost this last round against this last match against Canelo. You know, and this time around, they can't leave it up to the judges. Someone's going to have to get knocked out. Plain and simple.
So Rosie Perez is with us on behalf of the 100 Roofs Project, helping to rebuild roofs in Puerto Rico post-hurricane. If you want more information, you visit 100roofs.org. That's where you go. Can you tell me what was the last fight that Rosie Perez was excited about as Wilder Joshua?
As Wilder versus Joshua?
Yes.
Well, that didn't happen yet, but I'm excited for that fight to happen. But the last fight that I was really, really excited about was when I was in London. I was shooting I have a TV series over there for Sky Premium called Bounty Hunters. And the star and the creator of it, Jack Whitehall, took me and my husband to Wembley Stadium. And Joshua was fighting Klitschko. Oh, my God. It was over 90,000. Over 90,000. The capacity of the stadium was 80,000, and they put extra seating. And that was so exciting. I couldn't contain myself. Oh, my God. So that was pretty exciting. I really, really liked that. Also, the final bout against Andre Ward and Kovalev, just to shut Kovalev and Andre Ward, you know, debate up. Ward gave it to him. Ward really demolished him, and Kovalev was never the same fighter ever since then. So, yeah. But, you know, what I'm looking forward to after the Triple G and Canelo fight, I would say anything that has to do with four fighters. One is Mikey Garcia. The other one is Terrence Bud Crawford, Lomachenko, and Earl Spence Jr. Those are my four top fighters that I'm very, very excited for outside of Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez. But I heard rumors. I heard a nasty rumor, and I hope it's not true, that these fighters come Saturday are going to go all 12 rounds. They're going to try to make it last the next 12 rounds so that there could be another decision that everyone's going to get pissed off of, and then there's going to be a trilogy. So that's a rumor that I'm hearing in the boxing world, and I really hope that it's false.
Okay, that's no good. We don't want match fixing so that it ends in another draw. That's not something we're looking for. Now, Rosie, we talked the boxing. Now I want to talk about your career. When people want to talk to you, do they want to talk to you more about White Men Can't Jump or Do the Right Thing?
White Men Can't Jump, hands down. no matter where I am in the world. It's always, white man can't jump. It really is. And, in London, they also get very, very excited for in London is Pineapple Express.
Yes.
Yeah, but white man can jump is the number one.
Which one are you proudest of? If you had to pick one of the three, because Do the Right Thing was so groundbreaking, but of the three, which one is Rosie Perez proudest of?
Well, I would say none of the three, to be honest. I loved all of those three, and especially Do the Right Thing, because, Spike Lee changed my whole life, But I would say that this movie, Fearless, with Jeff Bridges and Isabella Rossellini is my favorite. It's kind of a downer though, but it's really good. And that one I'm really proud of. And this independent film that I did with John Leguizamo, where I had to gain 20 pounds for nothing, had nothing to do with the story. I was so pissed off at John Leguizamo for asking me to do that.
What is that? Why did he do that? That's not cool. It had nothing to do with the storyline.
You want to be honest, off the record here, I think John just likes fat asses. And I think that he just wanted me to gain weight just to gain weight. Put it wrong. Okay. Like, my butt is already big, thank you very much, and I don't know. I was very confused. But anyway, it's called The Take, and it's a dramatic film, and it's about a husband who gets shot in the head because of a robbery, and the brain trauma makes him go psycho, and I play his wife.
Rosie, you recently got married back in 2013, I believe. I don't know if you read the big news today. I don't know if you follow Greg Cote, read Greg Cote's columns in the Miami Herald, but he broke a big...
Yes, I did. Congratulations.
Yeah, there you go. So I was wondering, any marriage advice? Do you have any marriage advice for Dan here? It's a big day for him.
Oh, I would say my marriage advice is just always say yes to the woman. That's it. You'll have a very long, successful marriage. Just say yes, no matter what it is. No matter what it is.
Yeah, that's why I'm still married. Yeah.
Good advice. It's Rosie, thank you for being on with us. Before you get out of here, though, the 100 Roofs Project. If people want to help Puerto Rico, your Puerto Rico has been damaged, and it has hurt you. If people want to help you and 100roofs.org, what are they helping with?
What we're doing is I partnered with Heart 9/11. They are the first responders after that tragic day on 9/11 in New York City. And they've been down there since last September, down in Puerto Rico, helping to rebuild and recover. And there are 60,000 homes still without roofs in Puerto Rico. So every dollar that you send to 100roofs.org helps to rebuild. It costs $5,000 each roof because of certain regulations that they have to adhere to. So it's a great cause, and we partnered with Heart 9/11 and today I'm Brave and my friend Ramon Rodriguez. I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Oscar De La Hoya and Tom Loeffler. Tom Loeffler is Y2 for Gennady Golovkin, and of course Oscar De La Hoya is the golden voice for Canelo Alvarez. They're going to announce it, I think, later on, maybe during the fight. They gave a substantial donation to 100roofs.org, and so I just want to thank them. They're going to be so angry at me that I said it on your show, but I don't care. I'm just so happy that they did that, and I'm so grateful. And I'm really grateful that you guys mentioned it. You didn't have to, so that was really nice.
Thank you, Rosie. We will catch up with you again. You don't have to worry about them and getting in trouble with them, though, because nobody understood what you said. Because the phone line. It's not because of your accent. Right, yeah. It's not because of your accent. It's because of the phone line. Yes, it was hard to hear because of the phone line. So if you want to repeat that story, I'm happy to do it over again.
Okay. Golden Boy Promotions and Oscar De La Hoya and Y2 Promotions with Tom Loeffler for the Gennady Golovkin fight. They gave us substantial donations to 100roofs.org. They wanted to announce it themselves, but like I said, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that they did that for us, and so it was really great. And it's a great cause, and they're great people, and the fight's going to be great. And I'm sorry Oscar De La Hoya, but Gennady Golovkin won the last fight. I think he's going to win this fight.
Oh, there it is, the dismount.
Don't do that when you're married.
Rosie, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it, Rosie. Thank you so much. We always appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Ponte los patines. Time for some mats.
What happened, Mike?
You happened.
What do you mean I happened? Look, I was getting irritated, okay, because we have given the people today a top 5 show of all time. Top 5 show of all time, and I was getting irritated because they couldn't stop yelling at us during that segment about her phone line. Like, they would not stop shouting and yelling throughout, just burying us with how bad her phone line was.
I understand.
And so the entitlement's annoying.
Right. You had a perfect game going, you felt like?
That's right.
Yeah.
And we got a phone line, and everyone turned on us. That's how fickle the sports fan is.
Don Le Batard.
Good work today. That was a fun show.
Stugotz.
It was also intergalactically stupid.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
From September 5th through the 25th, more than 100 Bristol-Myers Squibb employees will cycle across the country with the goal of raising $1 million for the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Help support the Coast to Coast for Cancer Ride by visiting cancerbikeride.org.
Update the polls in a second, but Allison during the break actually called me over. She's like, Dan, come over here. I've got something to show you. And she just holds up her phone, and it's the Wikipedia definition for the word tact. No, Allison, don't run away here now with a red face. Come on here. And what? What happened? Why did I just put you in a bad spot with Rosie Perez and her publicist and her people?
You put me in a bad spot every single day of my waking life on the show. What do you mean, what did you do today? You don't know what you did right there?
No, I don't know what I did. I made it awkward because her phone line was bad at the end, and at an inappropriate time, I asked her to repeat something that she initially said, I shouldn't be saying this.
Weird.
Not because of her accent, though.
Yeah.
No.
Not because of her accent, an important distinction in 2018. Also, I've got immunity because I'm Latin. Yeah. Loophole for me. That could have been a disastrous mistake that ended my career, but I'm brown. Let's update the polls.
Poor Allison. We're a handful.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're a mess today. Look, I haven't been right. Look, you guys.
You can understand.
Come on.
We get it. We
come
get
on.
it. No, we get it.
Come on.
Yes. We get a pass
One
today.
of my
we
best friends in the world betrayed me today in a way that's now on USA Today. Betrayed me.
We said you get a pass today. Just explain the other 364 days.
I have been spending every waking moment here while we're working. And when I say waking, it's because my father's sleeping in another room over there. I just walked in there and he was asleep.
You get ready for the show.
I have spent all my time today explaining to people why it is that I didn't tell them that I was married and that they were reading about it from Greg Cote in the Miami Herald. Anyways, let's update the polls.
Was your dad one of them? Or?
Yeah.
Does he know? Let's get him. Let's break him the news.
Yeah, all right, let's break him the news at the end of the show. Yeah. Just tell him, put my father on and just tell him what Greg Cote did with the last minute of the show.
The Twitter poll is brought to you by Discover Card. Discover thinks annual fees are ridiculous. If you do too, find out more at discover.com, at Le Batard Show on Twitter. Did Greg Cote write his way out of Dan's wedding party? 86% of the audience said yes, he did. Was Greg a candidate for the wedding party?
Yeah, of course.
Is he now? Okay. Did Greg Cote have Dan's permission to write the article he posted today?
He most certainly did not.
78% of the audience said no. Can you just not bet a Thursday night game? 51% of the audience said no. Wow. Who wins a boxing argument? Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. Oh, Dan's right here. 71% of the audience said Max. Those are the polls today.
Poppy, we brought you in. Did you hear what Cote did to me today? Greg Cote, wouldn't he be one of my best friends ever?
Yeah, what did he do?
He wrote in the newspaper, against my wishes, he wrote that I am now engaged. He gave the details of my engagement. Look at my father.
Did you know, Poppy?
Look at my father, Poppy. That look on your face. Are you, Poppy? Can you believe? Can you believe that Greg Cote did that, Poppy? Can you believe that Poppy? I'm getting married.
You are.
I'm your son. Your son is getting. Look at this. Poppy's pinching himself. That's it. That's right, Poppy. Finally, I'm going to give you some grandkids, baby, in the future, Poppy.
Are you sure? Is no diapers full?
No. Poppy, but what about the betrayal of Greg Cote? What about the betrayal?